This is good stuff. Thanks. I'm considering going from twins Yamaha 150 to just one 250 or 300 horsepower on a 2000 Robalo walk-around 2440 model. Boat dry weight is like 5,200. I'm not sure. Any advice? Thanks. Every boat's kind of different. You know, I'll give you examples for this on why I think the way I'm thinking at this. So like I've seen a 23C craft that had a single 250 go to twin Suzuki 140s, and it actually rode way better with the single 250 on it than it did with the twin 140s. Then I have seen a 26 CV that had a twin 150s on it that went to a single 350, and it performed way better with the twin 150. So the horsepower ratio kind of doesn't equate like you would think it would. And then also the length and weight of the boat also plays a different factor based on the performance of the boat. For you, on something like a 24, you were talking about a 25, 26 foot boat with, it's a walk around, so you got a cuddy cabin, you got a lot of weight up front, the bow pulpit, like it's longer, the way the boat is going to turn in the water, for one, is going to be, if you put a single on a boat like that, the turning and maneuverability of the boat goes way down. Your maneuverability in close quarters with a boat like that on a single is way down, because you've got all this weight and all this, you got a big sail in the front of the boat because it's got a big cuddy cabin. So any kind of wind, all that stuff is going to be against you when it comes to maneuvering in marinas and stuff like that. Whereas with the twins, you've got that maneuverability factor. And also, so for the walk around 2440, I'm thinking that it's going to perform and handle way better with the twins than it would with the single 250, 300. Even though your horsepower is going to be equal, I think the performance of that boat will probably be better with twins than it would be with a single. It kind of totally depends on the model of the boat and the weight and the way you use it, where you use it, that kind of stuff. But those are two examples of things that I've seen where you would think it would be one way, but it's complete opposite. I think the Seacraft was more that it was a 23, and the 23 is not that long. There's not a lot of weight up front. So the 140 Suzukis are heavier. So the weight in the back of the boat kind of throws. Michael says gel coat, brand new boat, Colonite, any other recommendation? So recommendations on maintenance items to keep your boat nice, fresh, clean, and lasting a lot longer. Gel coat, yeah, wax it, put something on there. Colonite's great. For your aluminum T-top, I'm using Colonite metal wax, putting that on there. If you got powder coated stuff, use an insulator wax, woody wax, to help keep the powder coat fresh. And then on like your cushions, you're going to want to put like a vinyl protectant on there, whether that be Starbright or any other brand. Put some kind of protectant on all of your cushions, as well as like if you got a windshield, put Plastex on there. You're basically everything on the boat, you need to put some kind of protectant on it in order to keep it looking brand new, and also make it way easier to keep clean. Like if you do not put anything on your cushions, the thread's going to deteriorate, the color is going to change, they're going to dry out, and they're going to fail a lot sooner. Same thing with the your T-top. If you don't put the metal wax on there, it's open to the air, the water, like it's going to corrode and pit a lot sooner than if you would have put something on there. Hey there, sorry to take you away from the video, but real quick, did you know that on average a boat owner will spend between $1,000 and $5,000 a year just on servicing their engine? And you could actually pocket and save a lot of that money if you would just do the service yourself. It might seem like a daunting task, but I guarantee you virtually everyone can do it with our guidance and the Boaters program. This is just one skill that you could learn inside the program, because we have hundreds of other videos teaching you all kinds of boating skills, as well as a weekly live stream where we have questions and answers with me, as well as a chat feature where you can send videos and pictures, ask all kinds of questions, or look for some advice or some guidance on a project that you're doing on your boat. You can join the program by hitting the first link in the description, clicking join, or visiting bornagainboating.com. Now back to the video. Trying to think what else I would recommend on a brand new boat to help protect it. Put something on the cowling, wax that you can get, or that cream, whatever it is for mercury. That stuff is really good. That cowling restorer, I'd put that on there, or like a New Finish or a Meguiar's color compound. Any of that is going to be a good protectant on the cowling to keep the paint from fading. And what else? That's kind of it. Once you do those things, I think you're going to be pretty good. Saruman Rani says, I have one question. I bought a new Everglades 315 with twin Yamaha 4.3 liter V6. Nice boat. When I am on plane, the anti-ventilation plate is 2 to 3 inches below the surface. Is this normal? Right now, I run on plane at 4,600 RPMs, trimmed up 4 bars at 35 miles per hour. If I bring the motors up, I will ventilate or blow out. I probably need to try it to see. Yeah, you definitely need to try it and see. I definitely need the engines trimmed down all the way to get moving from a standstill, or I feel sluggish. So, yeah, as far as before we talk about the anti-ventilation plate, as far as the way you're running the engine, yeah, that's a trial and error thing. You need to trim the engines up, watch your fuel burn, watch your RPM, watch your speed, and you will find that sweet spot. So if 35 miles an hour is where you want to cruise, then I would, get to 35 miles an hour, start to trim the engines up until the boat starts to porpoise, or you ventilate and then trim them down a little bit and watch your fuel burn, watch your speed. You'll be able to move your throttle back a little bit to maintain that speed, and you'll see your fuel burn come down. That's all trial and error right there. But once you do that, you'll figure out the sweet spot of where that boat likes to run. It might be, as long as it's propped right, make sure the boat's propped right for one. But it might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. You might need to run 4,200 RPM and be running. You might find that at 4,100 RPM, you're running 32 miles an hour and burning 5 gallons an hour less than running 35 at 46, whatever. So play around with that to get your fuel burn and your cruise speed right. Whenever you take off, it doesn't really matter what the boat is. You need to trim the engines all the way down, because you're going to be sluggish. When you trim the engines up, it gives you lift on your bow. You get bow raise. Here's your boat. Here's the propeller. With it like this, the propeller's going like that, pushing the bow down. So whenever you get a boat on plane, the bow raises up, and then you need to push it back down to get on top of the water. If you have your engines trimmed up, it raises the bow up. So when you're trying to get on plane, you're just going to be plowing with the bow in the air. So it doesn't really matter what the boat is or where the engines are at. You need to trim the engines down, pop up on plane. Once you're on plane, then you trim them up, and that'll get your speed going. But the anti-ventilation plates being 2 to 3 inches below the surface, not really normal, but it's hard to tell. It is very hard to tell. When you look at the back of the boat, there could be all kinds of different spray coming off of the back of the boat. So, whether or not you have an engine mounting height problem, I don't really know. If you don't have a performance problem, then I probably would, not worry too much about that. But if you're like burning a ton of fuel and you got other kind of rideability issues, but that's pretty easy to look at too. You just put a straight edge on the bottom of the boat and look at it. My guess is they're probably mounted correctly, but boats being put together, there's hundreds of people that touch a boat before it goes together, and you don't know, at what point in time, anybody could be going through anything in their life. And when they put the engines on there, people make mistakes, and boats are put together by people. So, if someone put the engines on too low, it's possible. So if you like this clip and you want to watch more, you can see another one over here or watch the full episode over here.